Good morning. My name is Erin and I am a homeschool mom. I have three girls, 13, 11, and 9. I would not call myself an expert in homeschooling, but I do have a lot of experience within it. My background is actually early childhood education. And then when I began homeschooling my kids, I was able to use a lot of the skills that I had learned with that. I do think that there's a lot of unrest going on with parents across our country, beyond our country, in this world right now, as we've been thrust into this world of, just on the news yesterday, we were told here in Canada that you'll be homeschooling your kids indefinitely. I know that brought a lot of panic to a lot of parents as they cannot even comprehend how that is going to be possible. I know even before all of this happened, a lot of my friends, what I would hear them say is, I could never do what you're doing. Like, I do not know how you spend all those hours with your kids. I just try to do homework with my kids and they melt. Yeah, because homework is one extra task that you don't have a knowledge of necessarily. You don't have an excitement for it at all. And it's just another thing that they have to get done after a long, busy day. So first off, erase that from your mind. Erase your past experiences of trying to get your kid to accomplish their homework at the end of the day and start from fresh. Just start from the scratch going, okay, what are my first steps? Now, I am going to warn you, and I'm going to recommend your first steps aren't to lay down a 12-point lesson plan and get your kids to do paperwork all day long. Please don't start like that. What you're going to do if you begin your homeschooling time, no matter how long, how short it's going to be, if you start like that, you are going to hurt your relationship with your kids. You're going to not build the trust that's needed. In this time, I think it's really important that we take a moment to not even think about the schooling and the need for it at this moment. It's important, don't get me wrong. But what I want you to think about is how much you have been mulling over COVID-19. How much brain power have you been giving to this, to the coronavirus? Our kids are listening. Our kids know what's going on around them. They hear us talking, they hear their friends talking, they're feeling it. So as much as you're feeling it with your adult comprehension and understanding, your kids are feeling it way more. They might not be talking about it. They might be laughing about it. Like, this is so funny. They're feeling it. And so I cannot stress enough taking a step back from COVID-19, and don't add education as another stress point at this moment in your kids' lives. One thing my girls and I are really excited about, and we're gonna launch it online so that you can be a part of it as well, is for the next couple weeks to try to, as everybody is social distancing and spending lots of time at home, we are going to start theme days. And so we're gonna announce it and hopefully you'll get involved. And basically what my hope would be, we already do a lot of this in our house, but hopefully what my dream for this would be that it's giving a connection point. So when we do our theme days, we have a lot of great ideas. I'm not going to share them right now. I'll roll that out on Instagram and here as well. But when we do those, what it's going to do is it's going to build your relational currency with your kids. I believe that if you spend the next couple weeks just focusing in on relationship with your kids, and you might have a great relationship already, but I'm talking, this is different. Teaching your children is a full different ballgame than parenting your children. Now, with that being said, I'm a huge believer that if you can parent your children, you can teach your children. You know your child better than anybody, better than their teachers at school that meet them for the first time come September. You know them. You know what makes them tick, what makes them excited, what areas of interest do they have, how do they love to learn. Now, when I say don't put out worksheets, some kids all over worksheets, like give me all the worksheets. Just don't be fooled at the beginning. Some kids do not have that personality, but at the beginning it's like, share worksheets. And then you're 3 days in and they're like, oh, why are you doing this to me? Don't do it right now, even if they love it. Focus on this relational currency because it's going to go a long way. Because when we move into the next phase of homeschooling, I don't know why I put it in quotes. It's actually a thing. I actually do it. I don't just pretend to homeschool. When you move into that phase, you have this relational currency with your kids. And it goes a long way because my kids, they know I'm in it with them. They know that I am just excited about what we're about to learn as they are. And it goes a long way. It's not just this dictatorship where I am just, this is what you're doing. Now there's some of that. They don't ever love math, but we do it. But it's not this dictatorship where I'm constantly just like, do this, do this, do this, and I walk away. It's literally like, okay, oh my goodness, we just saw this. Let's learn about this. And I get this like really excited. So I'm going to keep on working on the lessons that your kids can enjoy as well. And I'm going to offer a lot of resources that we love a lot in our house and use a lot for all different ages. So again, my oldest is 13. So I do have a cap in a way, so to speak, of my personal experiences, but I'll also link you to a lot of other people that you can follow and carry on. I'm a huge believer. If you look up like how Finland does school and that's kind of how I follow. If your kids are in those early primary years, you're good. You're good. Play is like their biggest thing that they need. And I don't just mean like just it's like building a whole village with their Barbies. That's actually using their brain skills in a new way, offering different sensory opportunities for your kids. There's ways to grow without actually just sitting at a table for 8 hours a day. And so if they're in those early years, please just don't even fret at all. Just enjoy being with them, crafting with them, going for a nature walk, and all of a sudden the world opens up and then you're researching this bug that they thought was just amazing. And one other thing that I think is really important for parents to remember, which might help to bring you some peace, is the regular school system stops for a whole summer, regardless of all of this. They stop for 2 months. Your kids fully break. Most kids don't think about school for those 2 months, and then they click back up in September and begin again. You have this opportunity with homeschooling that if you just did a little bit each day and continued throughout the summer and beyond, this is how we homeschool. We do a little bit each day, but all year long, your kids are actually going to be ahead still. I strongly believe that they are not going to miss a beat because they're going to have consistent learning throughout. So just know that your kids are actually used to breaks, and this new approach, don't think you have to take it all at once. Little steps. Think of it as a marathon. This is long term. That's what I think of. I think what I do, and this is what I'll recommend that you start by doing. I want you to sit down right now. Well, maybe wait till I'm done talking. Sit down, and I want you to write down, when your child is 18, what are the skills that you want them to know? What are the things in life that you want your 18-year-old to go out into the world as a full-grown adult human being. For some of them, it's a little later. That's okay. What do you want them to know and accomplish while they're in your house? And so write it down. It could be little things. It could be obviously like reading. I want them to be able to do finance, math. I want them to be able to multiply in their head and be able to come up with things right away. I want them to know how to make a chicken dinner, change a tire. It could be like huge things like this isn't huge, but huge for me. I want them to know how to hem pants, whatever it might be. Write down those kind of goals and then backtrack from there. This is a perfect opportunity, like a perfect opportunity to not be just working on worksheets, but actually working on life skills. A lot of our kids are missing life skills because they go to school 8 hours a day, then they come home, we eat dinner, they rush off to sports, and they go to bed. And we haven't taken the time to teach them like, oh, this is how a washing machine works. This is how we do this skill. And so I think that this is a great opportunity to begin that process as well. And I guarantee if you are doing stuff with your kids, they're learning. Hear that again. If you're doing something with your kids, they're learning. So when you play a game with them, they're learning. When they're building Legos, they're learning. When they're cooking and baking in the kitchen, there's learning happening. So I cannot stress enough, and we'll get into the academic portions, which, to be quite honest, I find still very organic in the way that I do that. But we will get into that. I do see once grade 10, 11, 12 to get dogwoods. That's a different season. That's a different thing. And we'll address all of that as time goes on. But right now, sit down, do your goals, join in, follow erin.e.clark on Instagram, and follow along and do these daily theme fun times with your kids for the next couple weeks. And then we will gear into the academic portion. But right now, focus on building that relationship with your kids, that relational currency, so that they know you're on their team and you're in this together, and just have fun for the next couple weeks, because there's a lot going on in this world. There's a lot going on in their little minds, and there's a lot going on in your mind. And I think we all can take the time to just breathe and have fun together and bond together. A lot of people, you've been running for a long time. You've been running from one thing to the next thing to the next thing with your kids. Take a breath and just breathe. The first couple days are gonna feel hairy in your house. If you're not used to being home all the time with your kids, it's gonna feel exhausting. But I guarantee as your relational currency grows, the peace in your home also grows. We stay home with our 3 girls all day. And one recurring thing over and over, when friends pop over randomly, they'll be like, your house is so quiet. Wow, your house feels peaceful. And that's the thing. It's not that my kids don't have fun. My kids are constantly going, but they're focused in on activities throughout the day. And it does bring a peace to our house. So when Mark would come home from work, it would be like, I'm home. And so now he'll come from his back office and he'll go, I've walked 10 steps and I'm home, but still have that peace. So take this as the coronavirus is not a blessing. It's awful, but take this opportunity of social distancing and having to be at your home, this forced time, as a blessing. This is a time that we can reconnect as a family. We can reconnect our marriages. We can reconnect our relationship with our kiddos, no matter what age they are, so that we can flourish as time goes on. So thank you. Have a fabulous day, and I look forward to checking in soon.